Don't watch that. Watch this.
Well, what do you mean by this? Oh, well, this is my channel. Welcome to it. And if you guys do really enjoy it, you can go in, you can click the share button. That really, really helps the algorithm. Go to Twitter, Facebook, Blogger. I don't even know what the crap that is. Reddit, all the stuff. So if you do love that, we also have a join button. You go in, you click the little join button. $4.99 a month. You get all the cool, awesome emojis. Now, enjoy the video. Hashtag release the JJ cut. Holy crap. Hello everyone, I am Random42, the one, the only, your favorite YouTube harpy. Breaking news, absolute breaking news. JJ Abrams looks like it looks further and further to be the case that we did have all these different versions of the movie, that we had all of these different takes, basically. Like, he had his movie, they came in and just redid the whole thing. Disney, Lucasfilm, all these people, Bob Iger, Kathleen Kennedy, completely removed anything of his. Oh, new Reddit leaks, they just dropped. Here we go. Boop. Let's get right into that. And boop. Yay, middle of the night magic powers are working. Awesome. Also, sorry, I'm congested. I've been really, really sick lately. Sorry. Here's what I've been told from a source that worked on Rise of Skywalker. Now, this one just came in. This is a new Reddit leak from Saltier Than Crate. So take it with a grain of salt that this might be complete. But I mean, I've listened to a little bit of this. I've watched a little bit of this. Jeremy's live with us right now. I had to come in, do a video, because of course you do. This just further cements the little bits here and the little bits there, and you have all of these little stories coming together to have you, like, each little source has a different piece to the puzzle. And oh man, we'll get into it. Since shortly after release weekend, I've been corresponding with someone who worked closely on the production of Rise of Skywalker and works for one of the major companies I cannot disclose here. I have verified the source to my satisfaction. To protect the source, I am rewording what we spoke about over the last 2 weeks, and I'm submitting it to you in bullet point format. I have written based on what they told me. The TLDR is that they were upset with the final product of TROS and wanted to share their perspective on how it went down and where it went wrong. The leakers for TROS had an agenda and are tied to Disney directly. Ooh, see, this is another one thing we've been hearing. My source confessed that they have an agenda as well, and that they struggle with ignoring what's been happening to someone who they think doesn't deserve it. Okay, JJ always treated everyone on and off set with respect. So my source's agenda is from what Disney has done to JJ and how much they screwed him over. Okay, so this is somebody in JJ's camp, basically. Or should be something that people are at least aware of, whether you like him as a filmmaker or not. Yeah, see, I don't like him as a filmmaker, but keep in mind, nothing of anything I've said has been personal. And I've always said that I feel like there is another version of this movie. I believe that, yes, there is a Matt Smith version somewhere out there, and that's all we need is the Matt Smith from Doctor Who. You know, the fezzes are cool, that guy. He was supposed to be in this movie. Where is he? If we see one behind the scenes backstage set photo, then I think that's the smoking gun. That's the last piece of the puzzle. Disney was one of the studios who were in that Bad Robot bidding war last year. Disney never had much interest in Bad Robot as a company, but they did in JJ because they saw Warner Brothers, who JJ went to it with at the end, as a major threat. Okay, see, this is all we remember, and I think that Warner just gave him more money. Plus, he likes to hop from thing to thing, doesn't he? So people don't really catch on that he's not that great. He'll start something, and then it'll be gone, and that's left for the next guy to fix and pick up. Because he's such a great director, right? See, I'm not a big fan of his as a director at all, but nothing personal. And if he's getting screwed, then yeah, justice for JJ and release the Matt Smith cut. JJ is very successful at bringing franchises back like Mission Impossible, Star Trek, Star Wars. Warner Brothers is struggling with DC aside from Wonder Woman. Well, and Joker, that was really good. And DC is still seen as a bit of a joke in its current state by the general audience. Oh yeah. I mean, Batwoman! again, we all know, but that's more the TV version. But it's still, you got Twilight as Batman. How many people are actually gonna go see that? I don't even know if I will, and I do this on YouTube for a living. Warner Brothers wants Abrams for some DC projects. Yeah, so yeah, we know that he's going to ruin Green Lantern and Superman. Hopefully not. My source said that this generation's Star Wars is the MCU, and Marvel's biggest threat is a well-operational DC. They want to keep DC in limbo that they're in right now. Abrams jumpstarting that franchise with something like a successful audience-pleasing Superman movie makes them nervous. Their goal is to make JJ look bad to potential investors and shareholders. Ooh. Yeah, this generation's Star Wars is the MCU, and Marvel's biggest threat as well. Oh, man. See? That makes more sense. My source mentioned this shortly after the premiere. The TROS we saw last night was not the TROS we thought we worked on. Oh, see, that's another thing that I heard, that it was so different that nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knows which cut was which. I've heard that from like 3 different sources now. JJ was devastated and blindsided by this. He's been feeling down over the last 6 months because of some of the ridiculous demands Disney has changed his movie story. While the scenes were shot, a lot of the changes were made in post-production, and the audio was re-recorded and altered. Well, we already proved that. I mean, I'll link that video right here where they had just copy and paste crap, and yeah. My sources said they've never seen anything like this happen before. He was the director, and he wasn't in the know about what they were doing behind his back. Apparently, JJ felt threatened over the month leading up to the premiere. Well, I keep going. We keep going to this image right here, where he knew it was going to be a stinker, or he knew he wasn't happy. Maybe I misread his expression, but this is not a happy man. This is not somebody excited and ready to present a film they worked on. So whether this is being very irritated at Kathleen Kennedy or being very ashamed that his name is on that piece of crap, in my opinion, I don't know. I can't tell you that, but ooh. Felt threatened over a month leading up to the premiere. Ryan was never meant to do 9, despite some rumors that he was. See, I never thought he was. I always thought it was going to be Colin Trevorrow. JJ was brought back by Iger, not Kathleen Kennedy. Well, see, that's because Kathleen Kennedy doesn't know what she's doing. She's good financially, probably great with people, probably not having malicious intent, but a clueless granny in a lot of ways. I don't want to believe these people are malicious, except maybe Kurtzman, but that's Star Trek, and that's personal. Disney insisted on more fan service, less controversy. And I applaud them for that. I do applaud them for the fan service. But then again, we still got all that controversy with the kids screaming. And I'll save you the audio clip. I play it all the time. Probably in the video I already linked. JJ's original agreement when he signed on was indicating that he would have way more creative control than he did on The Force Awakens. It became evident that this wasn't the case only a couple weeks into shooting when the trouble with meddling started. See, that's why I said he's like a studio notes guy. Maybe he's now just getting frustrated with this. I don't know. JJ wanted to do... I wonder if this is JJ himself, like saying, no. I'm not just a studio notes guy. I'm not happy with this either. Because you want to have some pride in what you made. You know, you don't want to go through life with this as your, this is my work. This is mine. This is what I have my name on, right? JJ wanted to do some scenes he thought were important, but Disney shut down citing budgetary reasons. May 2019, JJ argued those scenes were crucial. He had to let go of one of the scenes. The other scene he insisted on was approved at first. He did reshoots and additional photography in July. The new scene was shot at BR in October, which is what we were hearing. They were still filming in October. Absolutely. The ending that would blow your mind was part of this. Older actors were included, like Hayden, Ewan, and Samuel, and anyone who wasn't animated. The Force ghosts weren't meant to be voices because they were shot that footage on camera. The actors were in costumes. This is one. Oh, this goes back to the Midnight's Edge videos that we were hearing, where they had all of these, like every Jedi all came together and fought together in this big epic scene, and you had Luke fighting alongside Leia, and Luke wasn't dead, and yeah, Rey was supposed to be surrounded by Force ghosts to serve as a sort of barrier between her and the Sith around. Oh, they were Force ghosts? Okay, so in some version they were there, some versions they weren't. But, this is again purple monkey dishwasher. One person will say one thing and then it'll transfer from next to the next and it's completely different. My source thinks, but can't 100% confirm, this is because of China. Oh, yeah, and the ghost thing might spook them in China. That's going to be, yeah. And plus, they don't like a lot of generic stuff. It's an office talk of sorts. Some VFX people claimed they got a list of approved shades of blue they could use on Luke's Force Ghost. Cutting this out was when the bad blood turned into a nightmare for JJ because the movie he was making was suddenly unrecognizable to him in almost every way. My source knows JJ well enough to know that he's not just the yelling type, but apparently in a meeting he yelled something along the lines of, "Why don't you just put directly written by Lucasfilm then?" Oh, why don't you just put directed and written by Lucasfilm? Yeah. Again, see, I always accuse him of being the studio notes guy. Maybe he's getting that feedback because clearly, they've got the Raylos sending him the death threats, and they've got just people losing their minds. And of course, if you're getting that kind of lashing or tongue lashing and that kind of verbal feedback, you're going to want to get out to the public. Yeah, actually, I didn't do those things. This isn't my movie. This is Lucasfilm's movie. I didn't want to do this in the first place. Stop being mad at me. Oh, this makes a lot more sense. My source wasn't present for that exchange, but knows some who were. Disney demanded they shoot some scenes that would have things in it for merchandise. They Fly Now was one of them. It's also JJ's least favorite scene. And in November, but yeah, mind you. Oh, they fly now. They fly now. They fly now. They fly now. Yeah, okay. I'm flying away. I'm flying away. Let's just transition into the Butthole Surfer song. And if you know who that is, hit the thumbs up. It's also JJ's least favorite scene. At a November screening of a 2-hour and 37-minute cut, he cringed, groaned, and laughed when that scene was on. Yeah, me too. I just rolled my eyes like, oh, this is stupid. And so did everybody. My source says that JJ was most likely not joking when he said, You're right, in an interview where they asked him about TRS criticism. JJ, yeah, because I remember that, he's saying, oh yeah, you guys are absolutely right. You are right to criticize this. Because it wasn't his. JJ's early November cut was 3 hours and 2 minutes long, which is what we were hearing, and that was what they were first booking the theaters at. And then, because the theater needs to know how long, and that's why you had, some theaters had probably a half an hour of commercials. Because I know, I keep hearing everybody's like, yeah, I had a lot of commercials, I had a lot of trailers, basically, in the beginning. Like half an hour worth. This really fits into that. That's another thing. Because remember, early rumors were that it was going to be a longer running time. In January, JJ suggested that they turn this into 2 films. Oh, we were hearing that too. My sources told me this was well before Terrio mentioned it in an interview a couple of days ago. When Disney said no, JJ was content in making it 3 hours long. Over a period of 9 months, JJ started realizing that one by one his ideas and whole scenes were being thrown out the window or entirely altered by people who have no business meddling with creatives. Yeah. They were not on the same page when it came to creative decisions, and it became obvious that Disney had an agenda in wanting to please shareholders. The motorcycle agrees. Disney could afford messing up 9 for the sake of the bigger picture when it came to protecting things unrelated to 9. Wow. They cut JJ eventually and hesitantly agreed to, in early December, was a 2-hour, 37-minute long runtime. It wasn't the cut we saw, which he wouldn't have approved of, and which is 2 hours and 22 minutes long. Apart from the Force Ghosts, there were other crucial and emotional scenes missing. The cut they released looked chopped and taped back together with weak scotch tape. And JJ's words, "Oh yeah, that's the video. That's the video I linked up there, where they just composited crap." It did. It was badly. It was just bad. The movie opened with Rey's training. Her first scene with Rose was shortly after Rey damaged BB-8 during the training. Rose made a silly joke about how Poe's gonna kill her for damaging BB-8. There was a moment where Rey took a minute to process what just happened. When she first saw that vision during training, she looked distressed and worried. The next scene was noise as the Falcon was landing, and Rey runs over there. Those two women who kissed at the end were visible in the shot, and they were holding hands. One of them ran towards the Falcon as it landed. Kylo on Mustafar's scene was 2 minutes longer. There was a moment where Kylo seemed a bit dizzy, and his vision was shown as blurry for a second, almost as if time half stopped while everyone in the background was slow-mo fighting. Kylo hears Vader's breathing and then shakes his head, and time goes back to moving at a normal pace. He jumps right back into battle. The scene from the trailer where he knocks the guy down, which did end up in the movie later. They cut some of the scenes from the lightsaber skipping segment. Yeah, we heard a lot more about that in some of the previous leaks. Some of the planets were cut out. Kashyyyk, Naboo, and Kamino. See, I would have loved to see Kashyyyk. Or Naboo. You know, sure, bring back Jar Jar. Couldn't have been worse with Jar Jar Binks, right? The scene where the TIE fighters are chasing them through the iceberg. Those corridors were inspired by a video game JJ used to play in the 90s called Rebel Assault 2, the third level of the game with the tunnels on Endor specifically. Jannah was confirmed to be Lando's daughter. Well, yeah, that's another one of the leaks we heard, because the way they edited it just seemed creepy, like he was hitting on her or something. Like, oh, no. I think they were supposed to be, and I hate it when they do that, when you need, like, all these leaks to piece a movie together. Rey not only healed Kylo's face scar, but she killed Kylo when she healed Ben. Kylo ceased to exist when Rey healed him. My source mentions that some people assumed it was Han Solo who healed him, but that isn't true. And that wasn't Han Solo. That was Leia using her own memories as well as Ben's to create a physical manifestation. Well, that's so confusing, though. I mean, how are we supposed to know that? Using manifestation of his own thoughts to nudge him towards what he needed to do. That was her own way of communicating that with him, and it wasn't possible without her dying in the process. She made the ultimate sacrifice for her son and flew over people's heads with the Disney cut. Yeah, and it flew over there. Yeah, it did. It did. Did anybody actually get that? Because I didn't. The late November cut, the last cut, JJ approved, had the scenes with Rose and Rey still. JJ wanted to give her a more meaningful arc. Disney felt that was too risky. My source mentioned that Chris Terrio said that it was because of the Leia scenes, but this is only partially true, because she had 4 other scenes, including 2 with Rey and Daisy, that Leia was not in. Finn wanting to tell Rey something was always meant to be Force sensitivity. In the 3-hour cut, it's explicitly stated. There was a moment where when Jannah and he were running at the top of a Star Destroyer, and Finn needed to unlock or move something as he Force moved it and was surprised when it happened. This was replaced with a CGI BB-8 fixing whatever needed it. Oh, so that's absolutely nothing. Oh, another. Why leave those, like, I need to tell you something in there? You know, you could have just cut every little bit of those out. That was just nothing then. Babu Frick was nearly cut because some execs thought he would be the new Jar Jar. He kind of is, but you know, he was alright. He's like, I'm Babu Frick. He was okay. I didn't mind him. They were really surprised that people love him this much. He was JJ's idea. It was created in collaboration with some artists and puppeteers. The personality was all JJ. I didn't have a problem with him. He was creepier initially when I saw the first leaked images of him. There were a bunch of scenes where Rey and Kylo separately went through quiet moments of reflection to deal with what they were going through. On her part, her going through the realization that there was something sinister about her past. Him going through regret and remorse, but trying to shut it out. My source said that the Kylo scenes were especially amazing because of Adam Driver's performance and how he managed to portray the inner turmoil. It provided much more context and a deeper meaning to both his battle with Rey and the final redemption arc at the end. It didn't happen so suddenly, and it was more structured. Oh my god, that was one of my problems. It just happened all out of the blue. They're just in love for no reason. The Kylo and Rey scene where he dies was at least 4 minutes longer with more dialogue. Ben was always supposed to die. The source also added that if he wasn't, then it might have been in an earlier draft, which they haven't read. The first draft they read included Lando. The first few didn't. Well, Lando coming back was one of the later additions that we had heard of, probably in this year's reshoots. The Reylo kiss and Ben's death was not part of the reshoots, it was part of the re-editing. Even the cut that JJ was coming out earlier this month had a longer version of the scene than was shown in the theatrical cut. JJ was against the Reylo kiss, or Reylo in general. This was Disney's attempt to please both sides of the fandom. it didn't work. Oh, no, it didn't work. Love Star Wars. Yeah, didn't work. Did it, Disney? JJ's gutted over the final result. Well, yeah, he's getting death threats over it. Star Wars means a lot to him. He had to sacrifice large chunks of the story in Force Awakens, but he was promised more creative control on Rise of Skywalker, and instead, the leash they had him on was only tightened as time went on. A source said that this is the one franchise, and the one piece of his work that he didn't want to mess up, and instead it turns into his worst nightmare. Oh, see, now I feel bad for him. Found out that he was blindsided with the cut that presented, he said, "What the fuck?" When Kylo was fighting the Knights of Ren at the end of the Williams music that was used for it, it was not what he wanted at all. He seemed to think it was all out of place. JJ's cut still exists and will always exist. We'll most likely never see it unless someone accidentally leaks it. So yeah, hashtag release the JJ cut. Oh, holy crap, that's probably also the George Lucas cut. This is what we're hearing. We had like three different versions of the film practically. Okay, so there you have it. If there are any questions, I'll try and follow up my source, but it's up to them. Edit, I forgot one thing the source wanted included concerning the Finn, Poe, and Rise of Skywalker. The source asked about Finn Poe after seeing Oscar Isaac's comment about how Disney didn't want it to be a thing. This is true. JJ fought to make this happen. Ew, so you're going to let the little Finn Poes win, the guys that wanted Finn and Poe to hook up. This is why Oscar is blaming Disney. It's not just a random throwaway comment. He knows for a fact it was Disney because these discussions happened. The main cast is insanely close with JJ and are just pissed. That's why they're like, no, you're not going to Disney Plus me, like John Boyega says. And they're like, no, we're not coming back. We're done. And this is why you're getting so much shade at the Reylos, too. This is one more piece that fits into that other puzzle piece, where you have John Boyega going after the Reylos. That was seemingly more outspoken about it than JJ. During Force Awakens, Disney was hesitant to hire John Boyega because a woman was front and center, so they deemed they were risky enough bringing in a male lead who's black made them nervous. They did him dirty. He was one of the best parts in this whole trilogy. On and off camera, actually. JJ fought to make that happen for about 9 months before getting approval. The same issue came up when JJ fought to have Finn and Poe in Rise of Skywalker. See, that probably would have been a better compromise than Reylo. But he lost that battle as he lost many creative battles in the film. Many people, JJ included, came to a realization during this production. The story really is told by the shareholders, investors, instead of creatives or anyone at Disney specifically. He tried to make a lot of things happen and was shut down because of this. They had him on a leash, and many blame The Last Jedi for the stricter creative approach. So again, they're still blaming us for complaining about The Last Jedi. Oh yeah, this is one more piece of the puzzle making more sense. So tell me what you guys think in the comment section below, as I've interrupted halfway through. I'll probably only trim out my sneeze if I remember to. If not, I apologize. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video, live stream, or wherever. Bye. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button, and if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.